Hey, what's going on, folks? Sean here, and today we're going to be diving into how you can generate credible leads to your messenger. Now, before we get started with the actual training doc and we dive into the nitty gritties and I give you some tailored feedback, what I wanted to let you know is I'm actually going to be rolling with an Ask Me Anything type post inside my group once a month, right? So, what this is going to be is an opportunity for folks to get insights on how to build a six-figure per year brand through different strategies and methods that I've actually used in the business to create that success. Okay, and they're going to get the lowdown on things like group growth and monetization, huge part of my strategy over the last couple of years. This is where things definitely changed, is when I really started to focus on my group and actually building a brand of my own. So we really do a deep dive on group growth and monetization, right? They can get the lowdown on things like optimizing their social media profiles, okay, and getting that all set up so that it's tailored in a way that they're actually going to get lead flow and sales opportunities with their audience. We're going to be doing the lowdown on things like content creation and highly leveraged strategies. Okay, sales conversations and how you can actually go on and humanize your process. And we're going to be breaking down things like creating unfuckwithable offers, right? And anything else that is really a burning pain or challenge in your business, right? There's lots of questions, around personal development, around mindset, the ebbs and flows, the back end, the different processes. So anything that you really feel you need help with, I'm going to open the floor once a month, and then I'll come back with tailored feedback like this, where I really just do a bit of a deep dive into the things that have worked for me, the things that you can take away and implement and try yourself, and really give you some feedback based on real-time stuff that's actually working for myself, right? So what it does is it also gives me an opportunity to continue to build goodwill with my audience, okay, with all of you, and deliver on high value trainings such as these, okay, high value resources. I can create documents like this based on, real time things that you're sharing with me. And what that does is it continues to pre-sell on exactly who I am, okay, what my brand is about, and how it is that I actually help folks without having to jump into the DMs and arm wrestle you with all my offers and services, right? Which is part of what we'll be covering today. So, what we're going to be breaking down now is the very first question and the add-ons to that question from another member who's experiencing similar frustration, right? So the question we got from Jersey, which is a really good one, is how do you get credible leads to your messenger, right? Dale goes on to say he's been in a similar situation. The last few offer posts he's put out have had a lot of responses, and I have actually seen a lot of the lead gen style stuff that Dale does really pops off. There's really good lead flow that comes from that. So definitely if you can transition this into sales, it's going to be magic for your brand. But he goes on to say that when he starts a DM convo, he quickly finds out that 90% of the people are unfortunately only making like $100 to $300 per month, and they can't afford a $1,500 program. He also goes on to say that he knows that I was in the same boat. Obviously coming from a third world country, things were pretty challenging. So when I started my journey, it was quite challenging to come up with a high ticket investment. And he goes on to say, but I was dead set on, finding a way to make it work, right? He thinks I'm an exception, and there aren't many people that would have taken that chance if they were in my position. He says he always posts a disclaimer of something like this is only for people who are able to financially invest in themselves. But people who can't afford to invest in themselves still reach out, right? So an easy workaround he could try would be if he just flat out said the price in the offer post, okay? But he doesn't want to scare people away that may just need a little convincing, and then they end up not reaching out at all because they made up their mind before ever having that conversation. Okay, he also sent me another DM inside of Messenger, just as a part 2 on that question, which kind of goes on to say that he mentions how the people he reaches out to in his offer post lately make very small amounts of money and can't afford that high investment. So he's also wondering, how does he increase the amount of sales convos he's having? Okay, the only way he's ever really done it is when he posts an offer post or lead gen post, and obviously those haven't worked lately because of the people reaching out aren't good leads. So he wants to know how he can have 5 to 10 sales convos per day without spamming daily offers or cold DMing people, right? So let's dive straight into my feedback on that. So the big question I really want you to ask is, from the very beginning of your sales process is, am I executing my process with a nothing in return mindset, or am I just trying to make fast profits? Okay, now I know that we're all in the business to make money, and it's a fundamental part of success. We all need cash flow moving through the business to actually start to create that profitability and scalability, right? But if you're only in it to make money, then you're setting yourself up for a lot of disappointment, okay? And look, if you are in it just for profit, there is occasions where you can go on and make good money and fast money, but unfortunately it's not sustainable because you haven't built that trust with your audience or an essential plan where you can actually take them through that customer journey, right? So you've really got to start with a nothing in return mindset, which was really actually very challenging for me. When I started my online business, I come from a very transactional background, and I never had to build a relationship with people. I had the product and service, they knew what their needs were, they came in, bought the service, and they were gone, right? Whereas the online world is so much more relational. You have to be building the relationship with your clients long before a monetary exchange actually happens between you, right? So you have to lead your sales process with a what's in it for them. Okay. Why should they actually work with you and not another affiliate or service provider? What's so special about what you do? What's so special about your offer? What's the bonus if they actually start working with you, right? What do you have that could actually help them with their specific challenges and their burning pains in their life, right? How can you solve those challenges? Are you actively listening to and diagnosing their specific needs, right? You have to be prepared to take your customers on a long-term journey with you and ascend them through different offers and services that are relevant to those specific needs, right? So you don't necessarily have to be starting with a high-ticket product with your clients. You could start with a bolt-on low-ticket product and ascend them through your different offers, but you have to be prepared to go on a 6-month to 2-year journey. What I'm going to do is give you a piece of advice that I was given, which I'm going to share with you, right, is pump the brakes. Okay. In your sales process, you want to hit those brakes. You need to humanize your process, right? You've got to treat folks like real people and not just a dollar sign. Okay. And actively listen to their needs and challenges so you can identify where you can actually help them. Okay. With trainings, with offers, with resources, that's where you could actually start. And, if you can help them get micro wins in their business from those resources, templates, and trainings, what will happen is they will start to build a bit of trust with you and in your process and your plan and how you can specifically help them. The other thing you've got to understand is every single lead is going to fall into a different level of awareness in their own brand and business, right? So there's only going to be a very small percentage of folks who will know exactly what they're looking for based on their needs and be ready to purchase right now. Okay, but the majority are going to take a little more time. I've had folks who make purchases in under 8 days of our first introduction. In fact, I have a strategy which is set up and in place that takes folks through a sales process that turns them into a customer in 8 days or less, depending on their level of awareness, right? And that's gone up to folks making a purchase 2 years later when the timing is actually right and their level of awareness is raised and things align for both of us, right? So I want to put a little side note here. I'm not in any way saying you should talk about the weather and random conversations with your leads, right? You don't want to go into this friend zone where you can't even talk about business. So definitely keep it super specific and direct. But what I'm trying to say is hold back on being overly aggressive. Okay, it's quite good to be a little aggressive in your sales process because you want to move folks along quite swiftly. But you want to just take a bit of time to build that rapport and trust with them so that they don't feel like it's coming off as a sales conversation, but more how can I help you, right? You have to be conscious of a few things. Firstly, raising their level of awareness of who you are, okay, what your brand is about and how you can help them. So this is where it's vital that you use highly leveraged content on the front end of your business, which does all the pre-selling for you and takes the pressure off the conversations, right? So when you start to share evergreen content over time, your audience has the opportunity to binge your brand all over the place, right? So they'll get to understand what it is you know and how you actually know it. Okay, why are you in this position? How have you started your online business? Who have you got help from? What have you invested in, right? What you do and actually how you help people. The wins both you and your clients are experiencing. And if you don't have clients yet that you can actually leverage their results with, right? You can also be talking about community results. A lot of us are part of different communities or, different coaching programs. So what results are those people experiencing, right? What your products and services are and what the investment is to get going, right? So folks have clarity that you have something to sell and what the different levels of pricing is going to be. What you hope to achieve with your clients and your expectations. So I think it is a really good thing that you're letting folks know that there's a disclaimer that there is going to be an investment. It is going to take time. These are the types of folks you want to work with. Over time, what will happen is you will weed out parts of your audience that are never going to do business with you, and you will continue to attract more folks that are actually vibing with your message and aligning with what your brand does, right? The second thing I want you to think about and be conscious of is the timing both for you and your lead, right? Not everyone will be a buyer today. A lot of sales will come from the timing being right and for everything to be in alignment. It's going to be equally as important for you to be ready to work with your lead, because not everyone is the right fit for your specific offers, right? For example, you don't want to sell tools and automation to someone who wants to organically grow their brand just so that you can make a profit. It's really going to be important that you pre-sell your plan and process so that when folks actually purchase your product, they go on and get results themselves, which then further reinforce your brand, your offers, and your services, right? So it's a win-win for everyone. So you really want to be asking good questions and better questions for yourself and your brand, and making sure that they understand, what they're purchasing into, what their benefits are going to be, what they can expect, so that they walk into it having deep clarity on what it is that you're actually selling them. And then if it fits, make the offer, right? The next thing to think about is their budget, and to be open to customizing something specific for them. Now, although I appreciate the compliment, Dale, I know you'll watch this at some point. I want to reiterate that I'm not the exception to the rule. Okay. I know of countless stories of folks who've had to become super resourceful to invest in things, right? So, my own background is that I had $50 in my pocket and I moved in with my parents, after leaving a 9 to 5 job that was paying me under $200 a month. Really, really hard time in my life. Did not have any money, and found a high ticket program that I knew was going to solve a lot of my burning problems at the time, but I did not have $2,500 to invest. However, I did have a shitload of shit in my garage that I could sell, right? That I did not need and that would bring in cash flow. Recognizing that there was a whole bunch of people in my world that had stuff in their garage that wanted to get rid of it. So sold it on commission. And within a two-week time period, I actually came up with that investment. Okay, another example is Flip, right? Flip actually sold his lawnmower to jump into SAA with Jacob Karras. So, there's many folks who need to have clarity around what it is you do and how you can solve their problems. So if there is a money objection attached to the sales conversation, it's normally not the money. Okay, because when there's a will, there's always a way. So normally your lead has not heard the right angle on your messaging yet that will solve their burning pains, and they do not have clarity on your plan and process. Right. So I was in shit street without a paddle and needed to make another investment. Otherwise, my business was dead. So even though I'd made that investment, I went down a very shiny object hole and ended up investing close on 12K that I didn't have, that I'd become resourceful to go and make to invest in things that did not work, right? And at the beginning of 2022, if I did not make a change in my business, I no longer had a business. It was not working. I didn't understand it. I didn't have clarity. As much as you understand things, this is a continual investment in yourself. Different levels, different devils. You're always going to be investing in different things that are complementary to your brand and that inject different strategies and methods at the right time, right? So I knew I needed to make that investment. And when I got chatting with Flip, and I actually ignored him for a year prior to this. Otherwise, I could have solved my problems a lot sooner. But Flip solved my burning pain by showing me that their process with Group Juice would help me create content for explosive group growth. Okay, by doing less and having more fun. I want to reiterate, my burning pain was the fact that I didn't have electricity and I didn't have internet. I needed to be able to follow and execute on a process in a very short time frame, okay, which was going to start to produce results. So I started to do less. And because I was doing less, I was having more fun because I had time available for doing other things that I enjoyed, right? So I borrowed the money from my uncle and I paid him back off the dollars I made from executing on that process. So you really want to test different copy angles on specific pains and burning challenges that they've shared with you and how your specific offer can help them achieve X, right? And hit many different points of what they've expressed to you over in the DMs so that they can see that your plan and process is actually going to help them get out of that burning pain, right? Budget can also be part of timing, and that is where it's highly important to circle your leads back into high value resources, templates, trainings like this one I'm presenting here. I speak to a lot of leads every single day. Not all of them are ready to move forward, but for me, it's not a case of they're not willing to move forward with me. It's just not the right timing right now. So at least if they can get insights into how my brand operates, what my coaching style is, how I actually work with my clients, and this is how I work with my one-to-one coaching clients in Hunter's Den every single week, is in a structured way like this. We jive for 1 to 2 hours on things that are going to work in their business, which they can take away, execute at speed, and build on their business process, right? So pre-selling on what's going on in my brand. So when the timing is right, we're ready to take that next step together, right? So, You want to further build that relationship and help them always with a nothing in return mindset. I would say that I built goodwill with my clients over a 9 to 12 months period where my sales were much slower than I wanted them to be. But by the time I actually started making more intentional offers, more people were actually ready to pull the trigger because they were already pre-sold on what it is that I could do to help them, right? The other thing you've really got to be open to is you can create a customized bolt-on offer that can complement and feed your high ticket offer, right? So you could take different elements of your high ticket offer, build out something smaller, and sell it as a low ticket item or something that's free and standalone that can actually help folks achieve specific things, right? So if you optimize your membership questions coming into your group, folks are going to give you market research on things that you can be creating on the front end. Okay, that's going to help them achieve micro wins in their business, which continually ties them back to you because you've helped them achieve those things, right? So you want to build your low ticket offers with the goal to, number one, further build goodwill with your clients. Okay. And secondly, to ascend them into high ticket offers further along the customer journey, always with that long term journey forecast. You want to be in business for the next 10 years, not for the next 12 months. So always build with that in mind, right? The next thing is making offers and people saying no. It doesn't always mean no, right? No can mean no, not right now. So the answer to all your cash flow challenges in your online business is to make more offers, right? And they don't necessarily have to be monetary. They could just be to receive resources, step-by-step guides, templates, trainings, challenges, things like that, right? It gets you used to presenting folks with offers. Okay, you start to get like the smooth flow going because when it's non-monetary, nothing, like there's no emotion attached to it. So by the time you segue to monetary ones, you understand the invitational flow of the execution. Okay, you're not just presenting an offer, you're inviting people to go on this journey with you, right? So get used to folks saying no much more often. So if I use a simple formula, okay, if you want to make 10K per month, you have to make a minimum of 10K's worth of offers. So let's say your high ticket offer is $1,000, right? It means you need to be making 10 offers as a baseline per month. However, remember that the sales average touch point before a lead turns into a client is normally 8 times. And statistically, much more in the online space normally goes up by 50, right? Meaning you need to be making an average of at least 80 offers a month minimum, could be more at the beginning, which will change and evolve with time as you get used to the sales flow. You become better with time and as you test different things. So you really just want to be creating and testing multiple offers. And like I said, you just want to find the balance. It's really important to find the balance. So the last thing I want to touch on this specific question is how to have 5 to 10 sales conversations per day without spamming daily offer posts and cold DMs. Now, I would recommend finding a balance between high value content, delivering on your plan, your process, your strategies, your methods, wins, all of those things, right? And building goodwill with your audience and being in a promo phase in your business. There has to be a balance, right? If you're always in sales and promo mode with your audience, you're guaranteed to burn them out, possibly burn yourself out as well. Okay, a normal promo, it pulls the rip out of me. I did that promo for Hunters Content Bootcamp for the better part of 6 weeks, and by the time we came to the end of it, I was absolutely exhausted, and not just myself, but my audience as well. So it's really important. Like I've come back into this now with a bit of goodwill. Delivering these free trainings on the front end, actively listening to where my folks are having challenges, delivering on these things so that when we segue into a hard promo again, we're both ready. Although not to say that you can't have mini promos. As you all know, I'm doing a mini promo at the moment. It's going to start on Thursday. A really, really short promo, which is just on a module in Hunters Content Bootcamp, which everybody's been asking for, which I've decided to take public because of the holiday season. And I'm just feeling cheery that way. So you can run those little micro campaigns, but it's not going to burn your clients out and certainly not going to burn yourself out, right? So I normally am in a promo phase for a third of the month. And the rest of the time, I'm pre-selling on my brand as a whole. So folks really get clarity on all the moving parts before we chat. However, you can keep your DMs alive with intentional outreach, okay? Not cold outreach, intentional outreach. So build assets and resources that will serve as an icebreaker in the DMs, right? Which you use as a lead magnet in the front end of your business, segue into the DMs, deliver on the resource, the template, and it keeps the conversation going, right? And then you can always follow up with your leads, right? In the next couple of days, find out how they enjoyed the resource. What did they get from it? Are they testing it, Follow up with folks you're already chatting with about specific offers, right? Diagnose where they're at. See if they're open to something being customized for them, right? even if it's a lower ticket item, if someone's got a specific pain point with like content creation, or how to optimize their Facebook profile, you can really figure out if you can customize something for them, right? Actively listen for things you can create as unpaid or paid offers, right? Build relationships with the part of your audience that actively raise their hands and engage in your content. Okay, these are the folks that are already watching and interested in what you do anyway. So to send an outreach and say, hey, really love the fact that you're following my content, you can really pick up on some good conversations that way. So, lastly, just don't be too quick to prejudge your leads. You really just want to keep digging. If someone had prejudged me, I probably would not be in the online space. When Aaron Shokovich reached out, and I told him the challenges that I was having, he didn't buy into my challenges. He really dug deep to see how he could solve them with his specific product and offer, and what parts of that were actually complementary to the things that I was talking to him about, right? So make sure you build them. And look, you can definitely tell if someone is definitely not the ideal fit for you. You will know and you'll get a feeling, and we're not meant to work with everybody. But you can definitely use all that feedback as leverage in your business to go on and actually create offers of your own. Okay, bolt on things, resources, templates. You always want to be building assets, and always just lead with a nothing in return mindset. So, folks, that's all I've got for you today. We'll be dropping the next AMA probably throughout the week, and really looking forward to doing more of these for you. Any questions? Pop them down in the comments below. I am going to be dropping this in my YouTube a little bit later. So for those of you who have not subscribed already, if you have got an online business of your own and you want to get some help around content strategies, offer creation, group growth, and monetization, hit the subscribe button, follow for more. We do weekly YouTube videos here as well. We'll catch you on the next one, folks. Cheers for now.